How's it going? It's Charles Botensten from, Botensten Properties International. Excuse me. I am going to be talking today, or we're going to be talking about today, walkthroughs. That exciting last minute, I'm going to be owning this property in a week, right before the closing, or today, or in an hour, or whatever. The famous walkthrough, what to expect, what to do, why you have it, and some of the things that I've went through with a walkthrough. I've went through a lot of things with walkthroughs. Some of them, most of them actually pleasant. And then other things were like, wow, we just discovered something that we had no idea was there. And then there would have to be a credit at closing. So why do you do a walkthrough? So you see the apartment, you put in an offer, you sign the contract, and then there's this huge period between putting it or signing the contract and your walkthrough or closing. It could be 2 months or it could be 3 months. And during that time, you have someone living there. You have the owner living there, yet you're about to buy that apartment or home, whatever you want to call it. And I call home after probably about like $1 million. It's a home because there's a mansion tax in New York City. Actually, it's New York State. There's a mansion tax, which is silly. Anything over $1 million gets taxed at 1%. So, of the purchase price. So the walkthrough is actually essential. You need the walkthrough because even if it's vacant, you have no idea what happened. Perfect example. Someone said between the time they signed the contract and they closed or actually did the walkthrough, it was a completely vacant apartment. No one was living there. Nothing was in there. And painters came in. They painted the walls. They left the window open. And they left the window open when they left. It was the middle of the winter. They left the window open. It burst the AC unit, flooded the whole apartment, buckled the floors, buckled the walls. There was mold. It was a total disaster. The owner had to pay for it, and then eventually it came out of I don't even think they ever got it out of the painter. But as a buyer, the buyer walked in, and the agent walked in because they're assuming that no one's been in there, but they painted it. So they walk in, they see that everything's dry now by the time that they walked in, but the floors were completely ruined, which is thousands of dollars. The walls, it went up the walls, and then there was mold in there, and it was that's why you do it. Because if you went from signing a contract to closing, there's really nothing unless the owner, if you close and you take over the apartment, it is really hard to go back and say, give us damages. In the case of flooding the home, how do you prove that? How do you prove that it happened not after you closed? Unless you bring in someone that goes forensic scientist that says there's no way this could have happened. The buckle in the wood would have happened 2 weeks earlier, and we closed last week. So the walkthrough is absolutely crucial. What do you look for? You look for anything that is damaged from when you sign the contract to when you are walking through the home. That could be a refrigerator door. That could be the dishwasher. That could be the oven. That could be the bathroom toilet is running. The shower head is broken. There's a leak in one of the windows coming through. The AC unit isn't working. It could be also physical. The flooring, there's a huge scratch, or the countertop is now stained. Or I've seen it a lot of times right where the oven is. When they turn on the oven, boom, and you're cooking, the backsplash is now brown, or it's damaged, or it's charred, or it's scarred, or any other ED words I can think of. So you go in there, you have so what you want to do is this is why the contract period is extremely important, or right before you sign the contract, is that you sign the contract, but you're signing that contract and you're literally time stamping that anything before was the owner, and obviously everything after is the owner, but what you're doing is up until you sign the contract, you need to put any damages in there. Say the fixture in the living room needs to be replaced. I don't know, something that you noticed, like the staining on the floor, where you had a carpet and the sun came down and it's darker than the lighter floor. So whatever you put into the contract is what you're responsible for after. Anything after between the contract and the walkthrough date, It's really important. Really, really important. So you want to put everything into the contract that you want to change, ensure that it was changed by the walkthrough, and then really that's it. If anything changed between the contract time and the walkthrough time, needs to get repaired. Anything after the walkthrough does not, because they assume that you assume the damages. You assume the damaged floor, the ceiling, the leak, or something like that. I've actually had it recently, and I take responsibility on it. We walked in, and around the window, you have it's a 10-year-old building. It's brand new-ish. It's not brand new, but it's brand new-ish. You have so you have the window, and then you have 4 slots on the inside and the outside of the window that keep the window in place. And one of the slots, and everything is white. The wall is white. The siding is white. When you remove it, that's also white. So we didn't notice, and I didn't notice because I'm the professional, I didn't notice at the top that there was a slat missing. So we had to get that replaced. We had no idea. And what we think happened is that the current owner put the shades down, and and it's a new building. So you're not assuming that. And because it's happened, I'm now going to not look forward to it, but I'm now going to look for it. And what does that say to the buyer? You know, the buyer is obviously mad because they have to pay for it, because how do you prove that the upper slat that keeps the window in was removed? And it's funny, people will be like, how do you not notice that? Honestly, even when you walk into the room, you'd have no idea, and then you walk up to it and you're like, damn, I got it. Sorry about it, you know. So look for everything, ensure all the outlets work, ensure all the water works. You know, that's the basics. Flush the toilets, turn on all the lights. There's a little outlet thing that I bring. I should have it over here. Yeah, here it is. I bring a little night light. Whoa, that got very dark. Come back to us, camera. Are we zoomed in? We should be good now. Yeah. So I bring in this little night light. You can see it. And this night light is amazing. I just plug it in, the light turns on, socket works. There's been a lot of times that this has saved me and made me look like a professional. So go out and get one of these. This is probably $3, $4 at Home Depot, but it's gonna save you a lot of money, because an electrician is gonna have to come in, go in there, turn off the electricity, ensure that the bottom or the top socket works, or ensure that all the sockets work. So go out. This is the basic. This is definitely gonna save you a lot of money. So I ensure that all the outlets work, all the lights work, all the appliances work, all the water turns on, the pressure is good, there's no damage physically to the apartment, there's no damage physically to any of the appliances as well. I have been in the apartment where the refrigerator door was dented, and to be honest, it was a pretty big dent. And we had to replace, or the owner had to replace the refrigerator because it didn't look good. It wasn't like, oh, whoops. It was, I don't even know what their excuse was. They were leaving. I think they said they swung something around like golf clubs, or they were moving, they hit a table, and it just went boom. And listen, refrigerators now, they call it stainless steel, but the stainless on the outside is so thin that you do a little bit and it just goes far. Like you hit one area and then the dent expands. So look for that. It's very important. Anything, I don't even think I'm zoomed in. I hope I'm zoomed in. I'm not doing the video again, but thanks, Charles, for being so nice and kind. So be cognizant of everything when you actually see the apartment. And then before you sign the contract, this is a smart idea. Not obviously, but most people go back and see the apartment twice. I've had many times, probably 50% of the time, people see it once, they're like, it's good, this is it, and then they leave. You know, they've seen enough apartments, they know this is the one. So, and the pictures are so good and the videos are so good that you know that this is going to be the one. So you want to go back for a second showing, notice anything. You know, take pictures of, say, the flooring or the cabinets or the countertop that, you know, someone put a hot pan between when you sign the contract and the walkthrough, and now there's a stain on it. There's a burn stain on it. Listen, I've seen it all. You got to be cognizant of it. Otherwise, it's dollars out of your pocket. I know the most important thing is closing and getting through the board and put in the board package and the deposit, and maybe there's a bidding war, but understand, go back for a second showing, notice anything that is a little bit different. Maybe you're obviously going to be way more specific on the second time, because the first time you're getting the general view. The second time you're like, oh, okay, I didn't notice that dent or that mark or that hole, or does that even work? And then you take note of it, you put it into an email, you put it into the contract, and then when you do the walkthrough, you ensure that what you brought up on the second showing is fixed. And if it's not, you're obviously there for the walkthrough to make sure that anything else that was damaged is fixed as well. And if it's not fixed, they're not going to delay the closing. That's silly. What they'll do is they'll put an estimate of, say, whatever it would be to fix it, say $2,500, $10,000, $15,000. Obviously, that's big damage, big damages, but it could be that big. $15,000 in closing, depends on the price of the apartment, $20,000, $100,000. You put it in escrow, you get it fixed, you show it to their attorney, you say, this is the bill, they give you that money, and then the remainder goes back to the owner, and then you get the money that it costs to replace or to fix or to do whatever needed to be done. So it's very important, the walkthrough, don't take it lightly. I've seen a lot, and it's very important that you do it with diligence, but don't do it too articulate, because the only thing that the owner has to do, and I know we're going on 11 minutes now, the only thing that the owner has to do is leave it in broom clean condition. So anyway, it's Charles Botensten from Botensten Properties International. Our favorite 2 social media networks, obviously, is YouTube. Subscribe to the videos. The second is Instagram. I keep on forgetting that. It's Instagram. We're also on Facebook, Pinterest, and everything else, but those are kind of side ones. We love Instagram. We love YouTube. Anything visual, anything picture. Charles Botensten, Botensten Properties International. If you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe to the videos. And obviously, leave comments, because we have a lot to talk about. We put out a video every single weekday, and we'll talk to you guys later.